What's going on, Paisanos? V here, coming at you guys, well, with another market watch today. You know, Paisanos, the ban list didn't come exactly what I wanted it to come. You know, it's like a Christmas present, and you have a list, and on that list is a bunch of things. There's one thing you want special, but you didn't get it. But there's other things on the list that you did want that got nailed out the park. Today's market watch is going to be a very long market watch. So if you guys are thinking that it's going to be a 2-minute video, it's not. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, comment down below. Comment question of the day. What did you feel Konami missed on the market watch? I'll answer mine real quickly. Mag C. Then again, there's a lot of other great cards on the ban list that has been missed. A lot of great decks are not going to be coming out of the woodworks, and a lot of new players are going to be playing things that, well, they've not played since a long time. Paisanos, the game is always being challenged and always being changed, and I really feel like a lot of players are just adapting to the changes as time goes on. People really want to get stuck on holding VFD over and over again, but you can't. We knew that card was going to get hit. In fact, a lot of cards are going to get hit. Like, we knew Union Carrier getting hit was inevitable. Sorry, ABC players, we won't forget your sacrifice, but we did, though, because Union Carrier is a broken card that spawned FTKs, it spawned Infinite Negates, it spawned Buster Locks. Union Carrier, the actual bad guy, has finally been caught. Then we got Utopic Zexo being banned, and we knew this was going to happen. Once again, if you watched my banned prediction video, we talked about Zexo and why Zexo is not a good card. We, of course, everyone, and almost nobody, actually, I should really say, is shocked about VFD being banned. And then the Unlimited list, well, thanks, Malicious, for being on that list. If anyone looking to play Drytrons, since we don't get Max C, you don't get to have that many Ben 10s. One, make them count. And then we got a bunch of Unlimiteds, and the biggest one for me is, well, True King's Return. This is a big deal for Dracos. I've been talking about Dracos for a while. Dracos is like a $5 deck, and having True King's Return come out is a big deal. Once again, all these tabs are all the tabs for the cards we're going to be talking about today. Sit back, relax, hit the subscribe button. This video is being streamed, by the way, the day before on my Twitch channel, Twitch TV/YGO_Paisano. Guys, all the links for that's going to be down below. If you want to check me out on Twitch, I'd greatly appreciate it. We're playing all the new decks, all the new stuff in the ban list. We're just going into a full steam because that's what I like to do. I like to adapt as soon as possible. Alright, so before I say anything, I think we can all agree the format is getting slower. It's just getting slower, guys. Like, I don't understand why nobody's really on top of this. As far as understanding the fact that Prosperity is not that good of a card, well, in a slow format. Don't get me wrong, in a fast format where you need Virtual World and Drytron to make their first turn board consistent as possible, this card's amazing for it. And the fact that the card was a $90 market price, and the actual price point is still roughly around $90, well, kind of proves the fact that this card is deserving of its current price. Until about 4 days from now. 4 days from now, Prosperity would be a horrible card. Anyone playing it, well, will probably be losing quickly. Now, you might go V, you can still use it in like Dragon Links, you can still use it in these other decks, I guess so, but that means your deck cares a lot about going or popping off first turn and not wanting to see turn 3 or 4. And if your deck wants to see turn 3 or 4 and you're still running this, congratulations. My Ash Boss from Enjoy Spring just said they get 6 cards in extra deck and get rid of them. You could choose, but now you play with 9 cards in extra deck. I'll exchange an Ash Blossom for your Prosperity on 6 every single time. This card's not bad as a 3-up when you activate it for the Banish 3. I don't think it's too bad, but then again, what are you doing? Why don't you run Pot of Duality if you don't need a special summon? Why don't you run Pot of Extravagance if you care about drawing cards and getting more advantage? Prosperity is not a bad card, but it's gonna get worse as time goes on. The current $90 market price it's currently having right now is definitely gonna be going a lot lower. Then we have Sacred Tree Beast Hyperton. And the thing about this card is, it's not a card that I hate, it's just a card that is going to be used by Virtual World, and you're probably going to learn to hate this card. This is the best thing Virtual World can do. There's another card they're going to play, we'll talk about later on the Market Watch, but this is the best thing that they can do. This card comes out of Blazing Vortex, it's roughly around a 43-cent card, and this is kind of the replacement for VFD. It's just a 1 negate. That's it. It's just a 1 negate, and that's it. It's alright, but Virtual World players, we need more tricks in your bag. If you think this is going to stop your opponent, it's not going to. And this, the promise, the Blasting Draco Slayer, was a 1-of that went to a 3-of. The thing about this card is, it wasn't seeing play as a 1-of, and now it's going to see play as a 3-of. I'm selling mine. I don't know what you guys are doing with yours, but in this prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer Ultimate Rare at a Clash of Rebellions for a $13 market price is just about bought out. You have an unlimited version being roughly around $50, and first edition version starting roughly around $52. By the way, after that one's gone, the card's hitting $70 for this card. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it, Paisanos. I don't really like this card as far as its value. I like the card for its playability, but those are two separate things. And to have this card be at such a high price point, it's only hype. You sell to the hype, you don't hold into the hype, you're only going to lose value. So, the biggest winner, one of the biggest winners, I should really say, is going to be Eldlich and Rocks. Rocks are actually insanely good. Rock, I guess we could say an Emancipator, what do you call it, Prank Kids? I guess we could say that. I like to call it Rocks. It's a combination of both. I think they're going to be insanely huge in a new meta. They'll probably be one of the very few decks that can combo off. Looking at Eldlich, obviously it's the biggest winner. Eldlich, the Golden Lord. There's the gold rare printing, which is like $5 still. But if you want the highest rarity, the secret version of Eldlich Golden Lord is almost near about $50 a copy higher than its current $41 market price. Now, if you want the super rare version of Eldlich, Cursed Eldland with a $37 market price is roughly around $40 a copy. It doesn't stay there long, by the way. The card quickly goes down to $45 for Cursed Eldland. Now, here's the thing. Are you playing Eldlich or are you selling Eldlich? Me, personally, I'm playing Eldlich. This deck is super fun. This deck is one of those decks, and this is why I feel like this format is going, where your resources count a lot more. Where we're playing checkers right now with this new format. If I can make you have less pieces, I have a better chance of winning. If you get me to have less pieces, you could probably beat me. That's how the deck and format is going. But we're using checkers with chess pieces because decks like the Golden Lord, if you make a mistake, you're going to lose a rook or bishop. And that's a big deal. And I like that about this deck. Make a mistake, get punished. Play good, get rewarded. I love that about Eldlich. Rocks are also really fun to play as well, and they can definitely be one of those decks that can put a nice board up. But Rocks is going to have a huge problem. We'll talk about that later on in this video. Next, probably the best deck, but not, I don't think it's the #1 deck in the format, but it's the best deck against every deck in the format, is Shaddoll's. Shaddoll's is one of those decks that can easily use the best card in the format, which I think is the best card, which is super polymerization. Shaddoll's can play against any deck right now and say, summon a Shaddoll monster and activate Super Poly. No matter what you do, unless you go like Solemn Warning a Shaddoll monster, that Shaddoll monster is going to hit the board, and the Super Poly is going to activate. In fact, if you have two Dark monsters, they flip it over against you as well. But overall, Shaddolls are just a huge deck right now that not a lot of players are talking about, not a lot of players are excited about, but everyone's going to understand why. And you can play any variant. Shaddoll Dogmatika, Shaddoll Invoked, Trap Shaddolls. There's a lot of good variations of Shaddolls, but I don't care which one you play as long as I know that you're playing Super Poly, because that card is broken. Super Poly literally says, you can't respond to me. I'm doing something. And by the way, that something is taking one of your monsters, and not both of your monsters, to create a monster on my side of the board, but all I gotta do is discard a card. This is an insanely broken deck, and I'm not gonna be surprised we see other decks like are gonna be using Super Poly, just like Shaddolls are currently going to be using them. Because I don't know what to play. 2, 3 Shaddoll Super Polys. It's inevitable it's going to be in there. Now, with that information, what are you going to do? Do we play Schism? Yes. How many? Probably 2. Is it going to get reprinted and Ghost on the Pass? We don't know. If it does, the value will tank. The current price point is roughly around $30. Ultimate Constructs. Oh, man. With $61 market price. Unlimited versions roughly around $100. First edition version start roughly around $105. After that one sold, it's hitting 123. After that one sold, it's 150 every day for Ultimate Rare Constructs. Why are they so expensive? Well, because Constructs are fan favorites, used in Shaddolls. The Shaddolls just got a boost. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Constructs hit $150. Who remembers when they were $26 for an Ulti First Edition Construct? They were, by the way. Nobody wanted to play these cards. Nobody wanted this card. But hey, listen, at one time in this game, and not too long ago, we're not talking like 5 years ago, we're talking a year ago, Ulti Constructs was roughly around $26 to $28 a copy. Other cards include El Shaddoll Noitalis being $750. Shekanaga, the MVP that nobody knows about yet, is going to be a big deal in the future. Shekanaga currently with an $18 market price, while unlimited versions are roughly around $44. First edition versions are $52. We talked about this a couple of days ago. I said just buy one. It's all you need. Shekanaga Ultimate Rare is spiking in value. It does have a secret rare and it has a super rare as well, but this Ultimate Rare is definitely the biggest valued version of the card. I'm going to be honest with you, Paisanos. Shaddolls are going to be way different in this new format than what you're currently seeing them as. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Shaddolls running cards like Allure of Darkness just to go in the deck more and gain more advantage. That's all they need to do. If I can Allure and go into Super Poly and banish a Dark Monster in my hand, that is a damn good Allure. And I wouldn't be surprised if that card starts seeing play as well. Shaddolls is going to continue to change. And one of the best decks against Shaddolls, well, we'll talk about later on in this video, but no lie, I feel like we're about to repeat 2015 over and over again. Next, guys, we have Tri-Brigade. Bird up, Paisanos. I love this deck. I'm a huge fan of this deck. And I want to know, and want to know from you guys, do you think this is going to be one of the best decks of the format, or is it just really hyped right now? That's a really good question. Burner right now with cards like Tri-Brigade Fractal being roughly around $17. You also have other cards like Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault. By the way, it's 2 versions. This is the sneak preview version. The secret rare is roughly around $3. That's the one you can buy in the packs. It's not as expensive. You need 2 Shureks, they're about $12. You need 2 Ferrages, they're about $5. And you need a place of Fractals, they're $17. But the majority of Bird Up deck is actually relatively inexpensive. And it's a really good deck with a really simple premise. I'm going to put Barrier Statue down with a Samorg. I'm going to have Protection with Rendezvous and Graveyard. I'm going to have you pass turn. You don't break my board, I'm going to bring out Apex Avian, and now you have a big problem, because that's an Omni-Negate that just hangs on board at a 27 body. Bird Up has a very simple premise that needs a lot of combo to get there, but it can do it, and the deck can not only do it, but do it consistently. Also, the deck also plays cards like, well, the Literalist engine, which allows them to go into a lot more things and not necessarily dedicate a summon, which is a big deal for this deck, because this deck already has a free special summon when you bring out Tri-Brigade Ferrager. It's a huge deck that's relatively inexpensive right now, and if you guys want to check me out and playing it, I'm usually playing it on Twitch. I have others I'm going to be playing as well. I'm probably going to be playing Shaddolls, but yeah, Bird Up is my baby right now, and I love this deck, and I think it's a phenomenal deck in the meta. Then we have Gandarla. I can never say that card's name right. 2 versions of Gandarla. The one version out of 2016 Mega Pack with a $3 market price is roughly around $9. By the way, after that one sold, it's $13. Unlucky. Then we want the original print version of the card from Breakers of Shadows, Bosch, with a $4 market price. No big deal. This one over here, well, this guy's one, no. $11. After that, it's $16. And after that, it's $19. But then again, it's 8 war at $11, probably where the price point is going to hang for a while. Gandarus is a great card that you can use in Bird Up. Your opponent puts a Barrier Statue down. You go, that's cool. Here, hold Gandarla, okay? And then you murder them. Because once you Gandarla Bird Up play, I think maybe if they're lucky, they have double Dragon Lords, which basically bounces a card on your board to your side of the hand. So that's their only play, and then you could beat Bird Up, but you need this one side card to do it. That's how you beat the deck, by the way. Then we have Alpha the Master of Beasts. Now, Bird Up players probably just heard me say that, and they're like, V, what you gotta tell me about Spice, our secret? Gandarla is our kryptonite. Alpha the Master of Beasts is one of those cards you play if you are playing Bird Up and you can't make a full combo and you're going second. This is a card you side into so you can just clean your opponent's board out and then reset the game state by putting a lock back on the board. I think Alpha the Master of Beasts is a phenomenal card with a $27 market price. The value, it's roughly around $29. Not bad and slowly going up. Keep eyeing this card. If you haven't gotten it placed already, you might want to consider getting it. It was cheaper a week ago, and I don't think it's going to be going down in price anytime soon. Then we had Red Eye Star Dragoon. I hate this card. I hate this card. I literally... Konami, there was like a wish list of like banned cards, and when I opened my Red Eye Dragoon package, you just showed me Cole. Why is this card not banned? And by proxy, why is the Red Ice Fusion not banned, and Rise Predator and Red Anaconda not banned? But then again, Konami's probably thinking, we can make more money by reprinting these cards and then hitting these cards because this card is degenerate. This card's broken, but this card might not be the be-all end-all. I'll talk about that later on in the Market Watch. I know I have a lot of cards to talk about, and one of those cards I'm going to talk about is cards we might start seeing play, which would actually shut down, or if not, make anyone playing Dragoon not want to play it. Looking at Red Star Dragoon right now at a 2020 10 Lost Memories with a $50 market price. These guys are all new sell. Look at this. Look at this. New seller, new seller, new seller, new seller, new seller. Get out of here with that, please. This guy, once again, Gold Star, boom. It's $55. I don't listen to these kids. No, $55 for Dragoon. Dragoon went up in value, and of course it went up in value, because if you're playing Dragoon, you're probably playing Subterra Guru. Now, I'm not saying I don't like if you play Guru. I'm just saying you're in the same level as a Mystic Mind player. So if you win with Mystic Mind, if you win with Subterra Guru, nobody cares. I want to be mean. I don't know how to be nice about this, but nobody cares if you win with these decks. And the reason why is because these decks are boring. They're not fun. You're playing, can you break this board? Because if you could, the game's over. You're playing boring decks. You're not actually learning any skills. You're not actually getting involved in the game. You are literally just playing solitaire, looking at your opponent and going, do you have a 5? Because if you do, it's Uno or some crap. Like, it's just not, it's what it is, though. And that's the meta we're going to be entering into. I wouldn't be surprised if we see any, like, floodgate.guru.dragoon.decks. These are decks we're going to be seeing play in the future. No doubt in my mind. And there's certain ways to play around them. We'll talk about that in this video as well. I know we have a lot to talk about. But Guru, Subterra decks, Dragoons. I might have a guy in the comments down below talking about, like, V, I really love Subterra. Cool, I like Solitaire too when I'm bored, but like this deck is boring, it's not fun, it's not interactive. Mystic Mind, the same exact thing. Konami, why did you ban this card? What? you're gonna get dinosaur players. By the way, dinosaur players, they didn't get touched in the ban list, and we'll talk about some of their cards. But Mystic Mind is a card they can play, as well as Prank Kid players, and they're going to. So after you build a good board and you earned a good win, a good board that should win, they'll just drop Mind on you and punish you for being good at the game. It's kind of annoying, but this card's not banned also. Mystic Mind currently being roughly around $4 for the Prismatic Rare. Probably go up in value, unfortunately. Lightning Storms is one of my favorite cards in the game. One, because I love how Lightning Storm looks as a Starlight Rare, but two, is how I love Lightning Storm is currently going down in value because the previous meta didn't need it. In fact, it's still low in value. Lightning Storms with an $82 market price being roughly around, well, $89, a little bit up because I don't count these kids as real people, is roughly kind of slowly going higher and higher in the market. The thing about Lightning Storm is the fact that if you don't look at it right now and you say 89 bucks is too much, then you're not going to like where it's going. Because I think this card, with the future meta, is going to go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher in value. It's just a phenomenal card that punches your opponent for trying to be way too aggressive. Especially if they're playing a lot of back row and don't have any answers. Answers meaning, well, Solemn Judgment was a good answer. They don't have any of that stuff. You're giving me all your back row with one of my cards. That's a big deal within resource, and this is the meta we're entering into. We're entering into a resource meta, and Lightning Storm is a phenomenal card for doing that. Of course, we can talk about Evenly Matched being another amazing card. Konami OTS 16. Hopefully, we see a reprint of it. I just think that Lightning Storm is an excellent card as well. That people, if you had access to get it, I would recommend you do pick it up. Then we have Dracos. Dracos have only gotten better. And what I like about Dracos so much is the fact that Dracos, well, they're like $5. I mean, don't get me wrong, Masterpiece should have came off the bans. I think we can all agree this card should come off the bans. But Masterpiece should have come off the bans. It's too broken. Says the kid that just recently played Virtual World. Stop. This card's not that broken. It should have come off the ban list. I thought Dynamite Knight should have came off the ban list. Put it to 2. But we did see a move from Dracos. We did see 2 Draco, I don't know what's right on here, 2 Draco no, the other Draco trap card come off the bans, which is awesome. Once again, if you're looking to pay a cheap deck that's really good, that is based off resources, it's Dracos. It's $5. What do you have to lose? You can run the Zeus Duality. Both cards have a multitude of reprints, as well as a Draco core initially. And if you want to be a little spicy, throw an Inspector Border. People, it's all that deck's reprinted. The deck's insanely budget, and all you want to do is you're saying to your opponent, "We're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh!" But if you do anything, I'm gonna have to like plus off it immediately with any of these Draco cards activating their effect on board. Also, the deck by itself is insanely interactive. You can run floodgates like they're going to only be 1, which is a big deal, as well as summon limit. Once again, I think this is a very inexpensive deck, and I think a lot of players might start picking this deck up because why would you not want to? You might already have a majority of the cards, and if you don't, there's so many reprints, you can get the deck for a relatively cheap amount of money. Then we have Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force, a card which came out the ban list to 3 with a $3 market price. The value, is that still the value? Let me hit refresh real quickly. Okay, it was, you just saw what happened, right? That's hype dying down. But we still have this card. They're selling it for $9. That's still way higher than even to $3 market price, which I felt was still way higher. This card's really overpriced right now. It's based off hype, and I would sell into the hype. Then we have 2 Dularan, Tiger King, and the Ice Barrier coming to 3. I don't think this is going to do anything, I'll be honest with you. Look at the Secret Rare, look at the Ultra Rare. I do think they look cool. If you have the dual terminal version, you're going to be lucky. It's a beautiful looking dual terminal version. I love that card. But do you hold it? Do you sell it? I would recommend to sell it. I think selling dual terminal 2 DeLorean for $55 is a really good idea. When you go wait, and you can always buy it back. The hype of this card is going to die down. Then we have Animador Archosaur. Okay, $64. Market price shown to be $56. Do a quick refresh real quickly, and it's actually still roughly around $65. In fact, after that one has sold, the value is hitting near $70 for Animador Archosaur. Dinosaur players are really excited to finally be able to play dinosaurs again. VFD, I should really say, not Virtual World. VFD.deck basically stopped dino players from playing their cards, and their deck is based off playing their cards. So seeing Animador Archosaur's rise in value makes perfect sense for anyone that's looking to play dinosaurs, because then now they can go back in and play their deck. I do think dinosaurs is definitely a good deck in the meta. Maybe I'll wait to end this video. I'll give you guys my top 5 decks of the meta, but Animador Archosaur itself is an excellent card, and see it go up so high in value is no surprise, because dinosaur players kind of excited to play the deck again. Then we have Dogmatika. This is arguably one of the best engines in the game right now. It definitely surpassed Invoke. Invoke's not bad, but it's definitely surpassed Invoked. And what we're seeing is cards like Dogmatika Punishment arguably be the best trap in the game. You can say Dogmatika Punishment, you can say a bunch of other traps, but I really do think this is the #1 trap in the game. Now, the engine, if you look at right here, front end is relatively inexpensive, with Ecclesia being roughly around $26, Fluidity being $16, Maximus being $7. That's not that much money for this engine. Unfortunately, Nadir Servant makes it different. Nadir Servant's a card you need, and unfortunately, we don't know if we're getting any reprints, and if the Ghost from the Past leaks are true, we don't get no Nadir Servant reprint. That's a big deal. Nadir Servant at a Rise of Deuce with a $77 market price is roughly around, well, $80 for Nadir Servants. You need 3 of these, by the way, and that's expensive. Now, you can run this with Shaddolls. I personally don't like it. I think Shaddolls is going to evolve to where it doesn't need Nadir Servants, but you could do that if you want to. But I don't recommend it whatsoever. But hey, players are going to do that, and they're going to put the engine, Dogmatika engine in a bunch of other decks. They're going to test it out because the meta's going to get slower. So cards like Dogmatika Punishment get better, as well as other cards like Fluidity to help slow the meta down. Alright, Fan Night players. Where are my Fan Night players? You guys were doing things last meta, and being the fact that the speed of the meta is slowed down. It's not as slow as I want it to be, but slowed down. I think PK is going to see a lot more play. It might be pure PK, it might be PK Fire. There's a lot of things PK can do right now. Fan Night Tour Scales is actually kind of undervalued right now. The card at a Fan of Rage with a $24 market price, well, actually it's not. It's roughly around $25. It's still kind of low, to be honest with you. The card debuted about $35, went and held a $30 price point for a while, now being $25. It's kind of cheap, to be honest with you. I personally don't like Fan Nights. It's not my playstyle. I always feel like Fan Nights' biggest issue is looking at an evenly match. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the deck is still good. I think you definitely can play through an evenly match. But if you're going to get evenly matched with Fan Nights, you're going to be in the world of hurt. Nibiru still can hurt your deck and might see play. Nibiru might not see play. If it doesn't see play, this deck gets better. Sees more play, well, this deck, it still gets a little better, but not as better as it would if Nibiru wasn't around the picture. And I know you can say, Fan Nights could go into Dragoons. Sure, I guess so. Once again, you're relying on Dragoons as the card, and that's not a good way to think about it. I think Dragoons should be banned, but I also think Dragoons isn't the card you should always rely on because it's not always going to stick on board. Looking at Fan Nights, though, I do think they're a great deck core. I think they're going to be one of the top decks in the meta. So get ready to prepare for this card, this deck. Forbidden Droplet isn't going nowhere. Now, I personally like Dark Rule No More. I thought I had a playset of Dark Rule No More. I had to rebuy them. But Forbidden Droplet is an excellent card. In a slower meta, this card becomes better, and the reason why is because it's chainable. It's chainable, which is absolutely insane. You know, imagine you're playing against someone, he has a full board, and he has an Omni Negate. You went to battle phase, you get ready to do that evenly match. Your opponent goes, I'm gonna negate, and then you chain Forbidden Droplet, send evenly match to graveyard, Forbidden Droplet negates the monster effect, and then evenly match still resolves, because it doesn't need to be on board to resolve. Not to every specific game state, I understand that, but this card is so good at chain to anything. Same scenario with Lightning Storm. Activate a monster effect to Omni Negate, send Lightning Storm to graveyard, Lightning Storm still resolves. This card is huge, and in a slower format, this card only gets better. Also, this card works with one deck core that I think is the Shaddoll's arch nemesis. We'll talk about that in a second. That this card specifically makes that deck core better. Looking at Forbidden Droplet at a Rise of Deuce with a $111 market price, the value roughly around $115. It makes sense. It's a great card, and it's gonna see a lot of play. Then we have Burning Abyss, and here is Shaddoll player's old arch enemy. If you played Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in 2015, you know Shaddolls were the deck, and Burning Abyss said, you're not, though. Burning Abyss is a phenomenal deck core, and I really do think a lot of players are going to start really looking at this deck a lot differently, because right now you're seeing Burning Abyss play some weird variation of its build, and it's not bad, but I do think Burning Abyss is better with more traps. I think a more dominant Burning Abyss trap lineup makes this deck better, and this deck has insanely good traps. The deck has one trap in particular, we'll talk about in a second, that actually level the fight and not give the deck a huge advantage against Shaddolls. Look at Burning Abyss and cards like Dante Traveler to Burning Abyss. It does have a common printing, but if you want the highest rarity out of a Duelist Alliance with a $19 market price, it's not nice. It's $15 for Unlimited. And if you want a first edition Dante, first edition from Duelist Alliance, well, that one's going to run you, okay, this guy's not bad. This one's about $25. Then it's roughly around $30 immediately afterwards. So, roughly, realistically, about $30 for a Dante Traveler to Burning Abyss. Once again, Burning Abyss is insanely good. The deck can float for days, and with having 3 Graph, 3 Scarm, and 3 Seer, the deck does exactly what it used to do. The best card it uses is Travel of the Burning Abyss. We talked about this in my previous Market Watch. You're playing against Shaddolls, you're going back and forth on them, you're clearing some of their board, they're clearing some of your board with cards like effects of Shaddoll Construct, and then you flip out Travel of the Burning Abyss and you go, cool, reset button. Oh, cool, a solar recharge, I put everything back on board, and then I could do it again. Can you? Excuse me. Can you do that again, Burning Abyss players? No, but they have Super Poly, so that's kind of like the weird like fight they have, and I really do like this fight. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what team I like more. And comment down below which team you like. Are you Team Burning Abyss or are you Team Shaddolls? I'll tell you right now, playing back in 2015, I swap teams back and forth over and over again because I love both these decks. I love what they do, I love the way they interact with each other, and I love how not only are they really good at fighting each other, but there's more or less the skillful player wins that matchup. Like, I'm dead, dude. Ask any player that's been playing both these for a while. The skillful player, whether it's a Burning Abyss or a Shaddoll player, he wins that match. And I like that. A skillful winner. Something we haven't seen in a long while. Well, because VFD. Once again, I think Burning Abyss and Shaddolls are going to be going at it. And when any deck gets in between their way, whatever deck gets in between their way, they're going to smack down like they did back in the 2015 meta. It's going to be really interesting. Looking at X-Saber Golems is another card that virtual players are probably talking about playing. The problem with X-Saber Golems, and don't get me wrong, it's not that big of a deal, and I really think you should sell Golems because it has 2 printings, and the secret rare at 29 collectors, the cheaper version with an $8 market price, is roughly around with shipping, $9. I think you should be getting rid of this card. But the crazy thing about Golems is that, yeah, it can take cards out of your hand, sure, but then as a virtual rare player, you're going to be opening stuff up to Nibiru more. So by trying to get me, I could drop a Nibiru and get you. And you can't just run back to VFD. You can't go la into any monster to go into Cloud Castle to go into VFD and pass your turn safely. No. Starting this Monday, you better make those cards count. Because if they don't count, and you're trying to play this game where you're trying to get cards in my hand and I punish you, the game's basically over. I'm not letting you get to the next turn. I'm not allowing you to try to set me up again. You get one Omni Negate after trying to get me? Not good enough, okay? Virtual players, no more like floodgate monsters anymore. You gotta earn those wins. Dark Ruler is a phenomenal card. If you don't have yours, listen, it came out super rare, but it also came out 2019 Ghost like Megaton. $6. The market price is slowly rising. It's going to start rising more as this card realistically becomes one of the best cards in the meta. I don't know where the main Dark Ruler no more. I don't know where the side Dark Ruler no more. All I know is Dark Ruler no more is a phenomenal card. And I think a lot of players are slowly going to start at least putting it in their side deck. This or Forbidden Droplet, or maybe even a combination, will make a player going second a player that's going first. And that's going to be a big game changer. We also have Slalom Striker at a Breakers of Shadows. I don't know if the meta is slow enough for this card to be viable enough. I have zero idea. And I would love to know what you guys think. Are you playing Slalom Striker in whatever deck you are playing? Because I really like this card a lot. One thing I like about Slalom Striker is the fact that it has a bunch of printings. The ultimate printing is like $200 a copy. It's insanely expensive. But if you want a secret Slalom Striker at a Breakers of Shadows with a $12 market price, the value of Unlimited is $13. And if you want a first edition Solemn Strike, that's $18. I thought that one sold, by the way. The card hits roughly around $22 for Solemn Strike. For Solemn Strike. Once again, my old-time Market Watch viewers, this card was $6. We talked about this. I went and bought a playset at this. Did you do yours? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. We're almost halfway done. Look at that. See? Easy mode. Looking at Drytrons, I really feel like Drytron players are going to have to play with a new rule set. They're going to play with a new restriction. 1 bend 10. Can you still do it, Drytron players? Oh, real quickly, just a little fun fact. Besides the fact that you need to play 1 bend 10, more players are not going to start playing with, well, Forbidden Droplet and Dark Ruler no more to combat the new meta we're entering into. So can you play with your cards and then that? I think they can. I think looking at Drytron, Medianus, Draconids, and Quantratids, these cards didn't see as much play. They kind of did in the debut of Drytrons, but after that, they just went away. I do think Drytrons are going to still be around. And I do think they're going to play a slower, more controlling game. They're going to try to bring out Draconids. They're going to try to bring out Quantratids. Because both of these cards are insanely broken. You don't even know what this card does if you're watching this video. I guarantee you don't. But when this set first dropped, I made sure to buy my collector's rare Quantratids, which is still roughly around $21. I'll help you. I'll tell you what this card does, okay? If total level monsters for this ritual summon was 2 or less, you can destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. This card's a 4,000, 4,000. It hits the field and goes Harvey's Featherduster. Oh, by the way, it's 4,000 attack also, and it's a machine in case you have well, that one card a double machine's attack. If you want to, if you want to be crazy like that. This card's insane. The other card is also insane. I really do feel like Drytrons are not going to go anywhere. They're just going to evolve like every deck does evolve. And Drytrons are going to be really good still. So keep an eye out. Now, if you're saying, V, do I sell Drytrons? Do I hold Drytrons? You should have sold Drytrons a couple of weeks ago when I said to sell it. And the reason why is because we're seeing cards like Drytron Nova, even though it's still showing a $29 market price, it's still slowly going to be now dumped into the market. The values of these cards are going to be dropping. Cards like Meneon's Drytron, $7, I can see both these cards going down in the market, despite the fact that Drytrons are not going anywhere in the meta. People are going to forget about this deck core. They're probably going to sell it because they don't have faith in the deck core. And then people are going to come out of nowhere and go, wait a minute, Drytrons have more cards. What does Dragonids do? What does Quadratids do? And that's what we're going to see Drytrons evolve into this new variation that is a going second. Just clean your board out and punch your clock out. Deck. It's very good. I don't know what's happening with Striker players. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'll be the first to say it. There's a part of me that's like that wants max rarity strikers. It's like the same part of me that wants max rarity heroes. But there's another part of me that's like the realistic part that's like, dude, are you dropping really 6/9 for Gagari Ultimate Rare? You need 3 of them, right? And then you get Striker players doing the same thing as hero players did. Whenever they get together, especially you see 2 Striker players, they go, hey, I need engage. And the guy goes, I need engage too. And then they kiss. Because that's what you're not getting engaged. This is Pot of Greed, but you get the Searcher card, and you think you're getting that with your Kagari? There's no negotiation mode, Striker player. You had your fun for years at the expense of all the other decks in the game. Enjoy the time you had and move on like an adult. Listen, if you love these anime girl decks, and Dragonmaid isn't doing it for you, no big deal. You're working with Konami over here. Konami's going to release yet another Tier 1 archetype that's going to be just as good. Tier 1, not Tier 0.5 or Tier 0, but just as good. And you can go ahead and you can play the new anime girl archetype. I like Strikers a lot, don't get me wrong. But like hearing Striker players say the same thing on loop, it just... Stop, please. Another thing fun to note is Striker Ace Rose is still roughly around $12 as an ultra rare. And if you want a secret version of Ray, well, no big deal. She's like $9 for a secret version. By the way, before the spike, she was like less than $3. Striker players, I don't know what you guys are doing. Chamber Dragon made a returning code early today, got bought out, as you can see over here. I'm going to refresh the page, and the new price point is, well, $88. It did start off, the price point started off being roughly around $130. That was true. I saw that, and if you guys are part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mark Facebook group, you saw that as well. Looking at Chamber Dragon Maid, it's rising high in value because everyone's excited about Dragon Link. Don't get me wrong, I am as well. I think Dragon Link is going to be a really good deck this meta, but I don't think it's going to be Tier 1. I don't think Chamber Dragon Maid is needed as much, or should be the price point as what it is. But Chamber Dragon Maid only has 1 printing. Eternity Code is a secret rare. So you do need it, kind of, right? Well, sorta. I think there's other Dragon Maids you need, like Paul Dragon Maid, which I think is a better card. But you can use Chamber. Chamber's good too. Chamber's worth a lot of money. And if you don't mind dropping $270 to $300 on a playset for a deck that is nowhere near as good as what it used to be, and a meta in which wants to slow the board down, and a meta that has Shaddoll's playing Winda, if you want to play that card, I respect it. I salute you. That's not easy. And I respect the crap out of any player who does that. Up next, Super Polymerization. Woo! This card is beautiful. Super Polymerization went as low as $68. Do you know that? The Ultimate version, by the way. The Ultimate version right now at the OTS 1 Pack 14 with a $76 market price. You wish. Well, it's roughly around $91 to $92 a copy. How many Super Pods you need? I personally think you need a main 2 and side a 3rd one. Why? Well, because that's how it works. Super Polymerization is a phenomenal card that a lot of players can, well, I mean more or less Shaddoll plays, but other players can do it too, but Shaddoll players can abuse. You brought out Dragoon. You look like you worked really hard to bring that Dragoon down. You had to give a lot of things away. I saw you pitch that Dark Magician from your hand. You opened it. Don't worry about it though, you said, because I'll get rid of it to bring out my Dragoon and it'll carry me in the game. Sure. Summon any Shaddoll monster? Response? No? Okay. Super Poly? Winda? Thanks for that Dragoon. It was really nice. It felt good. Oh, how about this? You brought and paid 2,000 life points with Predator, Panther, Anaconda. Brought your Dragoon out. You did do that. They're both dark, right? Okay, Super Poly. Thanks for your sacrifice. And then you just bring out Starting Event and Fusion Dragon. And then you just punch your opponent because they, once again, try to bring out Dragoon. As much as I don't like Dragoon, and I really don't like Dragoon, Super Poly should be banned. The reason I'm not complaining about Super Poly, like I'm complaining about Dragoon, because I'm a Shaddoll fanboy, and I don't care. You gave us back a shotgun and a knife fight. You did do that, Konami, and we're no takesy backsies on the ban listies. I'm using this card. This card's broken. Now, obviously, if you look at the card, you're like, V, this card's way too expensive. What do? Don't worry about it. Super Polymerization has other rarities. It has secret rares, well, a secret rare, a regular rare, a super rare, and OTS 1 Pack 9. I have it, looks clean. Dual devastated ultra rares, gold, common, and another beautiful looking common, infinitely better than the gold. I think Super Polymerization is easily accessible, and it's meant for every player to look at Dragoon players and go, wow, you really tried to work hard, didn't you? Give me that. Like, I like that. I like that a lot about this card. Then up next, we have World Chalice Guard Dragon Almar-Duke. If you are looking out there and going, V, how do I play against these bird up players? You go into Almar-Duke. Easy mode. No big deal. Now, this card has multiple versions. Originally coming out of Dark Neostorm. The card also came out of 2020 10 Lost Memories as a common. I kind of like the rare more now. It all requires is 3 Link monsters. That's it. Pretty cool. Bird up. Up next, Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. Once again, if you are a Shaddoll player and you have the room in extra deck, or even if you're an Eldlich player, maybe Eldlich Shaddolls, who knows? Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord is a broken card. This card with a 3,800 attack, 3,500 defense, a dirt cheap card by the way at a Blazing Vortex with a $3 market price. The value is slowly rising. Nobody's seeing it, but listen, $3. And then the next verifiable seller has the card roughly around $4 to $5. This card is insane. All it requires is 1 Eldlich monster and 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster. That's it. They cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Period. You control 1 zombie monster, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of it. Now, it can't attack or activate its effects the turn you take it, but it's still yours. It's not like any other kind of take control card where you gotta give it back to your opponent. It's not like Triple Titan's Talents where I take it, I swing with it, and I give it back to you. No. This card just says you can't use it right now, but you can take it. That's yours now. Like, that's insane. Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord is definitely a broken card. I talked about it when Blazing Vortex first debuted. I felt like this card was insanely good, insanely cheap, and now it's even more cheaper, and it's still cheap where I think you might want to consider picking up at least 1 copy, maybe if not 2. Then we have Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. This card with a $70 market price, well, the value is roughly around $70, $71. Does this card not feel like Axis Cold Talker? Axis Cold Talker, when it first came out, was really low because Konami fixed the ratios, evidently. And the price point was low for a short time. Axis Cold Talker is well over $80 right now, and everyone kind of needs one of them. And I feel like Zeus is almost like that. Almost, I say. Because Zeus can be played as a 2-of in certain decks. And we've seen it play as a 2-of in decks like, well, Eldlich Zodiacs. And maybe Pure Zodiacs does become one of the decks in the meta. I don't think it will be, but maybe it can become that. And if Pure Zodiac becomes a deck in the meta, you don't need 1 Zeus, you need 2. Looking at Zeus right now, once again, it's currently $70, and it's not going to go any lower in price anytime soon. This card's going to continue to rise up higher in value. If you don't have yours, well, you might want to consider picking it up because you're more than likely going to need it. Then we have Nibiru. I don't know whether to love this card, hate this card, buy this card, sell this card. Comment down below, what do you do with Nibiru? Are you going to be playing it still? The main deck you play Nibiru for is almost dead. I mean, it is almost dead. But what about the other decks? Is Dragon Links going to become a thing? Because you can nib them. Bird Up doesn't always go into Appaloosa. You can nib them. So is it worth playing? Do you play 2? Do you play 3? What do you do? I really don't know, and I'll to be honest with you. I do think Nibiru is still going to see play, but not in the capacity where like you almost need it in the main deck at this point, in this current meta, which is going to be changing in a couple of days. Looking at Nibiru, the Prima Being with a $103 market price, the value is $105. Oh, by the way, after that one sold, the value is $115 for Nibiru. When this card first debuted out of OTS 1 Pack 14, the value was $120. And I said, it's gonna go down. It did go down. It did go down. But it went back up because everyone's like, well, Ulti Nibiru's is still Ulti Nibiru's. Even though Konami definitely made a typo when they made Nibiru. But you look at the life points in Nibiru, and attack points, that they hit like a space bar when they made 3,000. I don't know. I think it's hilarious. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is a phenomenal card that I feel like a lot of players are not respecting right now. Every deck in the meta, and especially in the new meta, is going to go into links at least 1 time. At least. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme also has a protection effect, but more importantly, it lets you cycle cards. And that's a big deal. If you're trying to add resources, this card's a great way to do it. You put as a Link monster, you bring a Phantasme out, you get to draw 2, cycle 1. Phantasme not only replaces itself, but lets you dig in your deck. And unlike some other cards, Prosperities, you don't take any big hit. You just bring it out on board, And that's it. Also, it's a dark monster, it's used for a lure. Another thing I like about Phantasme, it has a protection effect that does help if your opponent doesn't get rid of it immediately. Look at the card, the current market price is roughly around $15 for the secret rare, by the way. The value of the unlimited is about $13, and if you want a first version of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, that's gonna cost you. Once again, it's $13. This one over here has it roughly around $20. He only has one for $20, and after that, the next version starts roughly around $21 for Phantasmes. It's still relatively inexpensive right now because nobody knows what to use it with. But if you're looking to play Dragon Links, you might want to consider playing it because, well, it says dragon. Also, a lot of decks can still abuse this card, and it helps recycle for get more hand traps or to get more resources like Shaddoll Fusion if you're looking to play Shaddolls. It's a big deal, actually. Then we have Prank Kids. This deck is gonna get so much better. Like, do you understand? This deck was only held back by VFD. VFD is that bad guy that held another bad guy in a cage. And now that bad guy's gone, the cage is broken, and Prank Kids arguably might be one of the best decks of the meta. Definitely top 5, no doubt in my mind. Prank Kids are a big deal. And before anyone goes, well, V, you can always Dark Rule and you can always hit Prank Kids with Forbidden Droplet. Sure, but can you kill them? Because this deck is insanely good at recurring resources. And I feel like in a meta in which you want to always recur resources, this deck reigns supreme. I'm not even lying to you guys. If you don't own Prank Kids already, you're going to probably not have a good time playing against them. And if you don't own Prank Kids, you better learn what they do. Because by not learning what they do, it's going to cost you a game, at least, if not the whole match. Respect this deck or lose to this deck. I'm super serious. I think you need to pick this deck up as fast as possible if you don't already. Doodle Duel's already at $8. Price is at $14. And to be honest with you, the rest of the deck is dirt cheap right now. This is an insanely good deck that almost doesn't go away. Then we have Witch's Strike. Now, what I love about Witch's Strike is nobody cares about Witch's Strike. Like, think about it. How many people actually are hoarding Witch's Strike? I have about 7 of this card. Yes, it got an ultra rare in the 2020 Lost Memories, but the valuable version is still the secret rare, which is at Savage Strike. Great set, by the way. Market price is being roughly around $5. The unlimiteds, well, about roughly around $6 with shipping, and we want a first edition version. It starts also at $6. What I love about Witch's Strike is the fact that nobody knows about it fully until you activate it and resolve it against anybody. Hey, you playing Dragoon? Cool, it's a really cool card. Oh, you're negating me? Cool. Witch's Strike, clean your life away. This card not only hits the board, but hits everything. Everything. If your opponent activates if your opponent negates a normal or special summon of a monster, or the activation of a card or effect, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Oh yeah, and also in their hand. All cards, I'm sorry, not monsters, all cards, and in their hand. Literally, clean your opponent's clock out for trying to negate one thing. You negated one thing, you done messed up Ron. Clean your clock out. This is what this card does. It's absolutely brutal, and in slower format, this card gets better. Another little fun thing about Witch Strike, which I love, it's a regular trap card, which means you could bring Trap Trick and use it with Witch Strike. Kind of broken. Then we have Paleo. So are Paleos going to be good? Well, I don't think they're going to be the best deck in the meta, but I do think Paleos will be at least 1.5, not tier 2 in the meta. Besides the Gluru decks out there, this is the second best control deck. Don't get me wrong, I'm Geist Gang for life, and I love Ultra Geist, but Paleos are insanely good right now, and everyone doesn't really know how to fight that resource-based game. Everyone's not currently playing evenly matched. Some might be playing Lightning Storms, which is really good, but I feel like you almost need both at this point. Both of these cards are insanely good, insanely broken, and no lie, Paleos, if you don't have it, they're going to have it. And the minute they go past turn 1, they're going to have their Omni Negate on board. Really good. Totally awesome, broken card. Unless you have Witch Strike. Then we're talking about Drill and Lockbird. I think in a slower meta, Drill and Lockbird is still a phenomenal card. The Ultimate Rare out of OTS Storm Pack 8 with a $91 market price. Yeah, unlimited being roughly around, well, it's all unlimited, it's OTS, but $93, $97, and then it's $100. Drone Lockbird's ultimately going to be hitting $120. It's still going to be used in the next meta because it stops your opponent from gaining resources. Once again, that's the biggest thing I need you to understand. We're playing a game of attrition in the new meta. We currently are doing it in a little bit, but as the meta slows down, the game of attrition becomes more real. Everyone from 2015 format can definitely tell you, if you lost resources, you didn't win that game. It just didn't happen. Drone Lockbird is another phenomenal card that basically does that. It says, do you have enough resources? And if you don't, Drone Lockbird comes on the board and just runs you, goes to the graveyard, I should really say, and runs you through. It's a phenomenal card, and nobody's looking at it right now, and I do think it's something that, if you don't want to get the ultimate rare version, no big deal, even though it's going to go higher in value, you definitely want to still hold on to your playsets because it's a phenomenal card. Then we have kaijus. Now, we talked about Gendara earlier, and we see it spiking high in value. But Game Seal is still at like $8. Kamungus is still $6. Interactive Kaiju Slumber, the Secret Rare, that's $5. Super Rare, $4. They're still worth a lot of money. Why? Because these cards are masters at looking at your opponent's board, looking at what your opponent's doing, and saying, yeah, that one card's too good. This card says, hey, you paid 2,000 life points for that Dragoon. Here, hold that. No more Dragoon. You can now have a water monster. That's almost like a Dragoon. That's what this card says. So if you don't want to play like Dark World no more, if you don't have the money for Forbidden Droplets, you don't have the money for Lightning Storms, you don't even want to buy Evenly Match, just play Kaijus. That's all you need to do. And you just look at your Kaiju, look at your opponent's monster, more likely Dragoon, and then you just hand them the Dragoon. The Kaiju. Get rid of Dragoon. Really, really good cards. I mean, listen, they run the gamut as high as like $9, $10, and as low as $1. And I think that's insane. I think that's really good. And I think if you don't have yours already, you definitely want to pick these up because these are phenomenal cards. There's prank kids again. Madolches. I talked about this in my Market Watch. Well, my band's evaluation live stream. Hopefully you guys tune into that. In which I said Madolches don't do nothing, but Madolche players are always celebrating that Madolches are not hitting the ban list. I don't understand it. I don't get it, but I find it hilarious. That Madolche players are like, they look at the ban list and go, they didn't hit Madolches. They didn't hit Madolches. We're free, boys. And for like the first week of a new meta, you hear Madolche players come out of nowhere and they're like, we did it, boys. We're going to win. And then they just go away. They're almost like water players. But I do like that. And the deck is very expensive if you want Madolche's high rarity. There's Ray again. Once again, this is the price point she was at yesterday. During when I did the live stream with the ban list, it was roughly around $20, and that's where she. And now once again, her current price point is at 50% drop in value. And then we have Gizmo Uka, the Festive Fox of Fecundity. I'm never gonna stop saying that card's name. I love that card's name. Konami, 2 more cards. I forgot it's a type of rhyme that you say the thing 3 times. And I forgot what it is. It's analogy and analogism, whatever. Gizmo Uka, the Festive Fox of Fecundity, is a beautiful sounding card. Not only is it a beautiful sounding card, in a slower meta, this card becomes better. This card with a current $8 market price, well, it's roughly around $11. This card was like $3 to $4 a couple days ago. Did a Market Watch, told some of you guys about it. Some of you guys made fun of me saying, V, it's going to get in the Mega Tints, and it might get in the Mega Tints, but before the Mega Tints come out, it also might see play. So I think this is very interesting. And then we have Triple Tactics Talents, my favorite card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it should be yours. Listen, I understand it's very expensive. I understand Secret Rares with a $95 to $98 market price. Looking at the name of physicians, they are roughly around $95 to $97 in the value. I understand they're very expensive. But this card has 4 cards that are banned currently in the game. Pot of Greed, Force of Century, and Change of Hearts. That's what this card has, built into one card. The only requirement is your opponent has to activate a monster effect during the main phase. That's not a big deal. In fact, look at all this I talked about in this video. I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, that they will activate a monster effect during your turn. The only question is, what are you going to do with that? My favorite thing about this card also is, since Dragoons is going to be the big bad boss of the meta, this card says, you're good, you brought Dragoons out. Give me your Dragoons. And by the way, steals all the monsters, blow them up, take damage, and swing. This card can easily turn the tide against the Dragoon matchup. Yes, it's very expensive, and I get it, but it's still a very needed card. And I think a lot of players are going to want to, well, consider picking this card if you don't have it already. Now, I personally only play 2 of this card. I don't like 3, personally speaking. I might pick up a 3rd one, but I like 2 of this card in almost every deck in the game right now. I don't think there's not one deck I play in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That doesn't have talents in it in main as 2. I think it's a phenomenal card. Whew. See? Easy Market Watch. Paisanos, I gotta say, look at the bans. There was definitely a lot of cards I think that should have came off the bans. There's definitely a lot of cards that should be on the bans. But one thing is very important. The next bans will be no sooner than July 1st. Do you know what happens before July, Paisanos? And I'm talking to all my Paisanos in the TCG. Well, specifically the US. Ideally, Nationals. If we have a Nationals, if we do have a Nationals, this is the bans for Nationals. Nationals is not going to be after July. We never had it after July. Most Nationals are around June. I believe June 6th, I think, is the day. I could be wrong. June 6th or 28th, something. Random numbers. Random numbers thrown out your way. But we have Nationals usually in June. And if that's the case, this is all national list. That's a big deal, Paisanos. Once again, I'm really upset about Maxi not being 3. I think that card should have been a 3. But then again, there's a lot of cards that should also come off the ban list. I think Konami was being really conservative with this ban list, but I do think they almost hit everything perfectly. minus Dragoons. And I do think Dragoons is going to be a problem. It looks like everyone hated Virtual World this meta. It looks like everyone hated all these other cards this meta. Dragoons is definitely a card that I think also people are going to be hating in the new meta. The reason Konami more than likely left it in is because to make more sales and do more reprints. Ultimately, Dragoons is going to get banned. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. If you get what I'm saying. Paisans, I really appreciate you guys watching this long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, comment down below, hit the notification bell whenever I do another live stream. Also, don't make sure to don't forget to click on my links down below. I have my Instagram. I answer all your messages. I literally answer messages constantly on Instagram. I'm on Facebook page. We have our Discord for the Market Watch. We have a Market Watch Facebook page, and more importantly, I stream every day. And if you want to continue the conversation, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. YGO_Paisano. I'd greatly appreciate it. Come over, give the channel a follow, as well as hit the subscribe button. Well, subscribe if you have Amazon Prime, any of that stuff. It's your boy Veen. You Paisanos. Hey, you Paisanos have a great day.